Hello, hello, testing, check 1, 2, how we sounding? Hello, hello, testing, check 1, 2, how we... Sounds pretty good to me. Let me get this thing rolling. All right. There we are. Hello and welcome to another Friday feedback stream. What's up, Daniel? How are you doing today? Thanks for joining the Patreon. I saw you just did that earlier today. This is going to be one of the last Friday feedback streams because starting in November, in like 2 weeks, I think, we're going to be switching to Wednesday feedback streams. So it's going to be While in Progress Wednesdays or Whip Wednesdays, depending on how you like to say that. But same basic idea, it's just moving to a different day just because people get busy on Fridays and things like that. And I would also like to be able to do things on Fridays and not have to schedule things. What's up, Van? How are you doing? Good to see so many people here today. So a lot of big announcements kind of went live for the changes that are happening to the channel. That's in a video that was released yesterday. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But the new stream schedule is going to be Mondays are going to be the office hours stream. Tuesdays are going to be a Patreon only production stream. Wednesdays are going to be the song feedback streams, what we're doing right now. And then Thursday is going to be new videos. And then Sunday is going to be another Patreon only video. So all that info is in the video I released. So check that out if you're interested in kind of seeing what's going to be happening here with the channel and all that kind of stuff. So for today, though, it's going to be the same as what we're normally doing here on Fridays, which is listening to your tracks and giving you guys feedback. So I'm going to toss that link into the chat, and I'm going to pin it up to the top there. That way, if you would like to send me a track, you can click on that link. It's going to take you to a spreadsheet. Once you're in the spreadsheet, just paste your link in there, and I will get to them in the order that I receive them. Before we get started with all that kind of stuff, just the kind of like basic rules that I go over the start of every Friday feedback stream, just so everybody kind of knows what's going on and people are on the same page. So ideally, original tracks only, so no remixes and things like that, mostly because of copyright strike stuff, but also just so that if it's a song I don't know, if you're remixing something I've never heard of before, it's hard to tell what's your track and what's part of the remix, and so it's harder to give feedback, so I just don't like doing that as much. Yeah, Daniel, it's the same link every week. So if you're sneaky about it, you could find that link and anytime during the week put your songs in there, and you're welcome to do that, actually. And also, Van, I kept two of your songs you put in last week we didn't have time to get around to, so one of your songs will be up first, and then the other one we'll get to whenever we get through all the other songs. So Van's already in the front of the line. So no remixes. Ideally, works in progress, just because if it's already finished and it's been released and it's out into the world, you're not as likely to go back and like make changes on it. So I like working with songs that are not done yet, so we get to kind of see them as they're in the middle of the creative process, and you can actually go back in and tweak things or change things or fix things as you need to. It is expected but not required that if you're going to be submitting a song to get feedback on, that you also give other people feedback. This is a community thing. I want people to be helping each other out, working together, all as a team and as a crew together to help each other out. So you're welcome to share your songs no matter what, but it's helpful that if other people are sharing songs that you are giving them feedback to. And as far as like what counts as feedback, it's good or I liked it does not count as feedback unless you follow it up with why. So why was it good? Why did you like it? What worked? What didn't work? If this is your track, then what would you do next? Other than that, songs will be reviewed in the order that I receive them. It's like first come, first serve. Oftentimes at the end of a stream, we'll have a little bit extra time. And so if you want to submit a second song, you can do that at the end, but try to only submit one song at a time, because that's all I'm going to do at a time. And then if you cannot make it to one of these streams, you are more than welcome to submit a song early, which you can do through Discord or just going to that spreadsheet. And I will still review it. And you can always watch the videos later, because all the videos get uploaded to the channel. What's up, Marco? The way you submit tracks is there is a link that's going to be pinned up at the top of the chat. Click on that. It'll take you to a spreadsheet, and then you just put your link in there. And that's how we do it around here. What's up, Kevin? Other things, feedback here is always free. So you don't need to pay anything. This is just a thing I like to do because it's fun and I like doing it. However, if you would like to support the channel, you can hit the like button. If you hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. You can join us on Patreon. I got a bunch of cool stuff going on there now, which I'm really excited about. Or you can super chat me and just tip me through super chats, which is a really cool thing to do. But again, all of that stuff is not required. You don't feel pressure to do it. Although if you want to subscribe, I will pressure you into doing that. Cool. So that's kind of the general rules. That's kind of the idea here. This is something we do every Friday, but starting in November, we'll be doing every Wednesday. Nice to see so many familiar faces around right now. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it without any further ado. Should be good. So this is a track that Van submitted last week that we did not have a chance to get around to. So we're going to start with that and then work our way down from there. And as always with the first song or any of these songs, feel free to let me know if it's too quiet or too loud or any of that stuff. I gotta make sure my levels are good. That looks okay. Let's check this one out. Nice. It has this really kind of cool, like bluesy meets glitchy feel to it. At the start, it almost had like a more kind of like Tom Waitsy kind of vibe, which I was actually really into. And I think that it'd be cool to go more down that direction, make it a little bit slower, a little bit more minimal, a little bit like less things going on all at the same time. And that way you can really appreciate all the different cool, weird layers that are going in there. And definitely like lean hard into the kind of like grungy bluesiness of it that you're already kind of doing. So that would be my main kind of just like real generalized, direction to go from here. And I would love some vocals on this. I think some vocals on this would be really cool. Again, like really like raw Tom Waits kind of vocals, I think would work really well. Yeah, Marco, you can send in anything you're working on. Ideally, works in progress is better than finished products, but whatever you want, just toss it in the spreadsheet. All right. But yeah, as far as like more specific things we can do here, the big thing to me was that especially during this area over here, it was just cluttered. There were like a lot of different things kind of echoing around in the background, and it was just like one or two too many layers here. So I think a little bit less is more could be really good, and then creating space so that when you do add in those extra layers, that like they're not competing with everything else. So let's take a listen to it one more time. So here's actually a really good example. You open up with like this space, and it works really well. It sounds really cool, and it works really well. And then as you keep on adding more stuff in, you don't take out things to make room for the new things you're adding. I really like the sound of the snare you're using. It has like a really interesting kind of like metallic tone to it. It kind of reminds me of like a lot of like old school, early industrial kind of drums where they would like sample machines and things like that. So more machine, more industrial, more mechanical stuff could also be really cool just in terms of like Foley and sound design and percussion kind of stuff. There's a puppy who's just eating everything in my studio right now. So I'm trying to like take all the things away from the puppy so she doesn't destroy my studio. All right. Yeah, here's a great example where there's like a few layers in the background where there's too much going on. There's a big kind of like swirling layer. It sounds like it has a bunch of kind of like delay and it's kind of moving around. I would turn the volume way down on that. I think that'll really help kind of create more space in there. And just as an experiment, try half timing this beat. Like same beat, just half as slow, at least for a section of it. I think that'll give it this really kind of like slow and dirty kind of feel that I think I want more from this track. But other than that, I think it sounds really cool. I think it's got a really like nice amount of distortion in it. Has this kind of rawness to it that I really like. But yeah, less of those delays. I think that's just a little bit too much going on right there. But yeah, super cool track, really great idea. I think obviously the arrangement could be refined a little bit more and kind of built out into something longer that has more kind of like verses and choruses and getting some more ideas in there. But I like where you're starting from. I like what you got going on. Sweet. Chat, you got any other thoughts, ideas, questions, comments? I can like see where you're going with this. I can kind of like see the concept. I can see the idea. I think you just need to push a little farther to like really get it there. All right. Next track I got from Discord from who was it? A Machine of Loving Grace. So we're gonna pull this up right now.
Have you come across Rousseau at all in your reading?
Man is born free and is everywhere in chains.
It would be nice if it was as simple as that. Shake off our chains and we'll all grow like flowers.
Are you not just playing with words there?
We've got to be careful that words don't play with us.
We've got to be careful that words don't play with us. We've got to be careful that words don't play with us.
Nice, that's pretty cool. What's up, After Party? How you doing today? So a lot of stuff going on in this track, and I think a lot of it is really interesting. I think a lot of it works really well. It has this weird kind of like, it's definitely not fully electronic music, but it's also definitely not fully like rock music. It's got like this nice kind of combination of different kinds of elements. I think there's a few parts that it just went on for a little bit too long. And I especially think that guitar solo was awesome. And I think the guitar solo should have started maybe 30 to 45 seconds earlier in the song. Because right now it just kind of comes in like right at the very end, and it's a cool way to end the track. But bring it in a little earlier, and I think that'll help kind of the progression of ideas flow a little bit better. Other than that, the drums were working for me for the most part. I liked a lot about what you did with the drums. I do think these are the kind of drums, and this is the kind of song where you can really purposely overcompress the drums, just like really go nuts with them, and it'll work really well. I think this kind of drum sample and drum set you're using will work really well. Just crank them through a compressor. Don't even care what happens. Just see how it goes and see if you like it. I think that could be a really cool direction to go with it. I love the bass line. Had a lot of groove to it. It really kind of carries the whole song. If I recall, we never get a break from it. I think it just goes the whole way through. Yeah, I think it changes a little bit, but we get the bass line the whole time. So maybe at some point in the song, give us a little bit of a break from the bass line for like 8 bars or something like that. And I think that'll help keep it fresh the whole way through. I liked what you were doing. You had this like open hi-hat pattern that I thought worked really well. And in this section, that hi-hat pattern, oh, the dog is eating more stuff. All right, if it keeps eating things, I'm gonna have to let it out. The hi-hat pattern in this section works for me, works really well for me. The hi-hat pattern, the close hi-hat pattern you have over here doesn't for me for some reason. It sounds a little bit too electronic for how organic the rest of the drums sound. And it just kind of like, it sounds a little basic in terms of like velocity and swing and things like that. So I think you can do better with the closed hi-hat pattern, though I really like the more kind of like open, simple sounding hi-hat pattern you have in other parts of the song. But here I just kind of noticed it. It like doesn't have as much life as the rest of the drums do, and therefore it stands out in kind of a weird way. Other than that, I like what you're doing with the vocal samples, honestly. I think they work pretty well. It sounds like almost like you're trying to have a conversation where there's like 2 different perspectives, one on the right side of the speakers and one on the left side. However, I think they're panned a little bit too hard to either direction. And I don't know if you guys can notice this through YouTube, but it's like some of the vocals are like way, way over on the right and some are like way, way over on the left. And that sounds intentional, but maybe instead of like hard panning them, you put them like mostly to the right and left, and that way it doesn't like, there's certain points where it sounded kind of lopsided because the vocals were like a bit too far to either direction. Other than that, I like a lot of the weird sounds you're using. I like a lot of some of the like more melodic parts sound really happy to me, which stands in contrast to kind of how dark the rest of the song is, which I think works pretty well here. I think it gives it this nice balance of 2 different kinds of energy. Oh, and those strings are dope. I also feel like those strings could come in a little earlier because I think they like create this kind of conflict between the darker energy of the rest of the track from the like more brighter energy of other things that are going on. So I like those strings a lot and maybe use more of those. But yeah, those are kind of what I'm thinking. There's a lot of cool ideas here, a little bit of refining here and there, and I think you're pretty good to go. Chat, you got any other thoughts, ideas, questions, comments? So before we do the next song, I see we have some more people joining us. If you would like to share a song, you can just click on the link that is pinned up at the top of the chat, and then put your song in there. I'm gonna let this puppy out of my studio, who is demolishing everything as we speak, and then we'll get into the next song in just a second. All right. You might be hearing the puppy knocking at my door for a while until they realize I'm not gonna let them in. All right, up next we got Marco. Oh man, it ended too early. Just getting into it. This sounds really good. I'm digging it quite a bit. Let's kind of go through it. Since it's short, we can kind of chronologically go through it again. I feel like I like your kick drum a lot. It has this nice kind of like nice low end and mid range to it. It has like a nice impact. It sounds really good. However, I think for the intro, instead of starting with the full on kick, first off, I love that sound. It sounds great. With the like little bit of birds in the background, like that. Yeah, I think for the intro, you either start with less kicks happening, so just like a more sparse version of the same drum beat, so it still has more kind of space and room to grow in it, or you filter out that kick a little bit and just have like a more muted version of the kick, or a slightly less aggressive kick drum sample, and that way you can kind of build into more energy and getting it more hyped up as you kind of like move closer and closer to like a drop or something like that. Because right now, because all the other sounds are like very natural and kind of mellow, the kick comes in as a little bit harsh as a like initial sound. Yeah, so maybe just tone down the kick a little bit just for the intro, and then after the intro, leave it the way it is because I like it. I really like what you're using as this kind of snare clap sound. It has this really unique tonal quality to it. It sounds a little dry though. Maybe toss a tiny bit of reverb on there. Maybe process it a little bit more. Could be kind of nice. And I love the weird kind of like, sounds kind of like a weird tom drum pattern you have in the background. Some guitar in this part could be really cool. I don't know if you play guitar or if you know somebody who plays guitar. A little guitar noodling could totally go in there. Yeah, really nice use of a lot of the background sounds. I feel like there's a lot of nice subtle texture going on here that I think is working really well for you. Same thing here with your snap. A little bit more reverb on it could go a long way. But the shaker sounds really cool. It'd be nice if there's a little bit more warning that that section change is about to happen. Maybe like a little tiny quick reverse sound or a little short noise sweep or something. Yeah, a little bit more lead into that transition I think could be good. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit subtle. Love the percussion here, but it's a tiny bit too loud. If you tone that down a little bit, could be really nice. Yeah, I'm ready to hear what's next. It sounds like you're gonna go a kind of like future bassy, big kind of choppy future bassy chord kind of drop. But I'm curious where you're headed, like in your mind where you're headed with it. I don't know what kind of music you normally make. But yeah, I like what's going on quite a bit, and it sounds like you're kind of like you're building up towards this big kind of epic drop fulfillment on all these things you're building up on, and if you can land that, if you can make that drop work, if you can make it sound really good, then it's a great intro. I really like it. Chat, you got any other thoughts, ideas on this track? Sounds really good. I appreciate you coming by and sharing it, Marco. All right, up next we got a track from Gontia. However, this is the last track in the spreadsheet as of right now, before we get to repeats. So if you have not shared a track and you would like to share a track, now is a good time to get your name in there. Yeah, Marco, I'd love to hear this once you kind of finish it up and actually kind of like build it out into arrangement and kind of see where you head with it. Because I think there's a number of different directions you can go, really kind of depending on your style and what you're into. All right. Gantya, I'm assuming you're in here somewhere. What's up? Is this the same track from last week that you finished, or is this a new one? Nice. As always, it sounds really good. The mix sounds pretty polished. The master sounds really clean. There's a few tiny things in the mix that I think I might change if it were up to me. But overall, it's just sounding really good. So let's start at the beginning here. Intro sounds great. All right, so during your main kind of beat sections here, I feel like you have a tiny bit too much delay on their plucky sound, your like main kind of melodic sound. Just turn the feedback down a tiny bit, and I think that'll help out quite a bit. And then I feel like your bass line is getting lost a little bit. And so maybe a little bit more volume on the bass, and I would not mind that. The other thing that I'm really looking for here that I think would be amazing is playing a little bit more with the rhythm of your melodic pluck sound. I like the rhythm that it has now, but I think if you can get really creative with the variety of the rhythms, and so it's not always the same kind of pluck pattern all the time, could be really, really cool. And I think really kind of elevate this song to the next level. I think that's probably the biggest thing you could do for this entire track. Ganya, so Ganya's asking, do you think this would work for simple commercial vocals? I honestly, I have negative opinions about commercial style vocals. So I think if you're gonna put vocals on here, you should do something really like interesting and cool with vocals, because I don't think it necessarily needs them. But if you do put vocals, make them weird, and I think that'll complement the song really well. And then you have like a bunch of these crashes. And I like the crashes. You have these big kind of reverb crashes all the time. Yes, things that sound like... This part sounds cool. Stuff like that guy, that little crash there. I love those. They're adding a lot of energy to the whole thing, but maybe a tiny bit less volume on them. If you turn them down a little bit, I think that could go a long way. Yeah, this part I like a lot. This may be one of my favorite parts besides the next section. Love this part. Great change up. I love the little like DJ scratch beforehand. Really good transition. I didn't see it coming and it works great. So big fan of this part. I think you can tone down some of the echoey parts of the main melodic part here, but other than that, I love this section. And you can maybe get a little fancier with those hi-hats. I know you have some like, they're like very kind of trappy hi-hats. I think you can go even crazier with them. This part works well too. Yeah, and then I like it from here on out. It feels a little bit repetitive from the first section. Yeah, I kind of want this section to be change a little bit from the first time it happens. But yeah, super dope track. It's sounding really clean, sounding really polished. It's just a few minor things here and there if you want to tweak them around. But has a lot of character to it. I actually do think maybe tossing some vocals in here could be kind of nice. Not like vocals that take over the whole song, but maybe some just vocal chops or a vocal sample here and there that kind of fits in with your melody could help out. I would not be opposed to that. But yeah, as always, sounding real good. Cool. So at this point, which is pretty early on in the stream, we have made it through all of the songs in the spreadsheet before we get to our doubles, people who have submitted more than one song. So I'm going to give you guys a minute. If you have a track that you're working on that you would like to share, now is the time to do it. Because then we're gonna go through and see if anybody besides Van wants to share another song. But we cranked through them today. Also, since there's more people here now than when I originally made this announcement, if you did not see the video I released yesterday, the new stream schedule starts November. And the new stream schedule is Mondays are going to be the office hours stream. Tuesdays are going to be a Patreon only production stream. And Wednesdays are going to be the song feedback stream. So next week, same time on a Friday. But the week after that, we're moving from Fridays to Wednesdays, and we're also moving up an hour. So right now we start 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to be starting 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So those of you guys who are regulars here and kind of know what's going on, starting November, basically starting 2 weeks from now, don't be here on Fridays, be here on Wednesdays. Sweet. So also, if you guys are enjoying the stream, if you're enjoying the feedback, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and go over and check out the Patreon page that I've just recently set up. Yeah, we're moving this stream. Will be on Wednesdays. All right, Kevin, I'm going to hold you to it next week. Also, since I have some people here, in case you didn't watch the video I released yesterday, starting in 2020, I'm going to be writing and releasing a song a week. So I'm going to be, that is what it sounds like, I'm going to be writing a song every single week. And I'm going to be documenting that process pretty thoroughly through the channel. And a lot of that's going to be through Patreon. Some of it will stuff be on the channel. But if you would like to join in, if you want to try writing 50 songs next year, we're going to be doing it together as a group and as a team. And you want somebody to hold you accountable to doing that, that's what I'm going to be here for. So we're going to be talking a lot about workflow. We're going to be talking a lot about kind of like what you need to do to be organized in order to be successful in a goal like this of writing 50 songs. Bummer, Kevin. Hopefully you are feeling all right, or at least you're getting better from your injury. That sucks. All right, well, we haven't gotten any more songs yet, so I'm going to jump into the other song that Van sent me. We're going to check this bad boy out. And of course, you guys are, if anybody is just joining us, you are more than welcome to click on the link up at the top of the chat, go to the spreadsheet, put your song in the spreadsheet, and I will listen to it. But part of the idea is if you're writing a song a week, you'll have a song every week to share for feedback, which is great. And I'll have a song every week to share for feedback. All right, so here is Van's other song. Nice. That was cool. Super trippy. Your stuff is getting really kind of psychedelic and out there, which I dig quite a bit. So in terms of like feedback and things I think you can do here, I think that bass line gets a little repetitive. The I think it's okay. I think it definitely adds a certain kind of character to the song. I personally wonder what the whole entire song would sound like without it. I think it might be more interesting. I think it'll have a bit more of a like chaotic, like psychedelic feel to it without that bass line in there. So that would be my personal direction, just to kind of see where it goes with just muting that whole bass thing and just seeing where this ends up and whether you like it better or not. But the big thing, there's kind of two things I'm noticing here in having listened to the track earlier today and then this one, is that you're doing a lot of really interesting, really cool, creative stuff here, with the delays and some of the sounds and the sound design and how you're putting them all together. And I feel like there's two things that are really holding you back, I think, and this is true for both of the tracks that I've heard. And they're both kind of two sides of the same coin. The first thing is too many layers. I think that, I watched this video the other night about Rick Rubin, who's one of my all-time favorite people in the music industry. And he's a music producer, if you don't know who he is, who's produced a bunch of the most famous songs you've heard from the last 30 or 40 years. And he actually doesn't always refer to himself as producer. He refers to himself as a reducer, because he considers his main job to basically tell the artist when to get rid of things. And he believes that in minimalism, and he believes in less is more. And it seems like, Van, your creative approach right now is oftentimes the same creative approach I have, where it often becomes more is more. And I'm wondering if you can achieve the same level of kind of like weird trippiness and psychedelicness and like interesting textures and things that are going on here with less sounds happening. And I think you can, and I think it might benefit your style and where you're going for here pretty significantly. So that would be my like first piece of overall advice, is just keep the style, keep the vibe, keep the attitude you have in your productions, but see if you can do that same kind of style with less things happening. And just as an experiment, just as a thought, yeah, I know how that feels when you're like, this is my less is more. Like, I already did that. Keep going for it. I have a friend of mine who I've been working with a long time, and every time before I finish a track, I'll send it to him, and he'll be like, delete this thing or delete this thing, and he's always right, because he knows me, he knows my music, he knows what's good and what's not, and he's got a really good ear. So keep on trying that out. See if you can cut it down to even less, and see where that gets you. Because I think you can still have chaos. I really like this part over here. There's so many things happening, and they're all kind of swirling around and creating this like chaotic, cacophony of sound, which I love. But I think you can accomplish the same thing with less sounds, and it'll sound clearer, but also still chaotic. The other thing that you can do, like I said, is the other side of the same coin, is work on your mixing. And I think those two things go hand in hand. The more minimal and the less layers you have, the easier it is to mix, and the easier it is to make it clear, and the easier it is to make it hear everything. And when I hear this, not only does it sound chaotic in terms of the number of layers and things that are happening, it also means that that's way harder to mix, because it's really hard to get all the levels right. It's really hard to EQ all the different layers. It's really hard to spread things out in the stereo field. And so I think that by having less layers, you can approach this mix in a much cleaner way, and it's going to open up your songs and allow you to hear everything better, and it's going to make them work in a way that they're not right now. So they're two kind of similar things. Practice minimalism, practice deleting things, practice getting rid of things, and then once you've done that, then going through and then like really refining the mix. Yeah, and I'm, even though this isn't mixed yet, I can already tell just from the layers I'm hearing here that like mixing this is going to be a pain in the ass, and you can make your life a lot easier by, like I said, getting rid of layers, holding things back a little bit, EQing things in a way where you're getting less things going on. But I really love both of the tracks you've shared. They both have had this really kind of cool, dark, but also playful vibe, which sounds like that's what you're going for. But I would listen to, I referenced Tom Waits earlier. Listen to some Tom Waits. Listen to some like early industrial stuff, and kind of see what they're doing with their layers and how they're using their layers to create this kind of like weird off-kilter kind of vibe. And I think that could be really useful to have as a reference. But yeah, super cool track. Like I said, I love the creepy weirdness of it quite a bit. And I think Quiet Chaos is actually a really good name for this track too. Sweet. Well, at this point, we've gotten through all the songs. I was planning on streaming for a bit longer, so if you guys have questions or things you want to talk about, things you want to get into, while we maybe wait for more people to show up and see if they have any more songs, now would be a good time to do that. I can also ramble a little bit about the 50 song challenge, and if you're thinking about doing that, I can let you guys know kind of at least a little bit about what my plan is and how we're going to start approaching that. Because I'm getting pumped about it. I'm really excited to try this out and just crank out tons of music next year. And like over the next 2 months, I'm going to be prepping a lot. I'm going to be doing a lot of practice runs. I'm going to be doing, making some new templates. I'll be going through making a bunch of presets, like doing a bunch of file management, kind of doing all the work I need to do. So that way, starting in January, just like cranking out tracks nonstop. Yeah, no worries, Daniel. We can do another. So we got plenty of time today. Normally I'm like hustling trying to get through everybody in time, but sometimes it's a little more chill. All right, so another track from Daniel here.
Ready?
Nice. I'm getting a lot of like old school DJ Shadow kind of vibes from this, like introducing era DJ Shadow. Very, very kind of similar in terms of what it sounds like you're doing here. I like this quite a bit. I think it sounds really cool. I mean, DJ Shadow is one of my favorite artists of all time. I feel like, I'm not sure where you grabbed all these samples, if you like grab them from different places or from sample libraries or anything, or like where your sources for these are. But I feel like it needs one more major idea. I think the arrangement does get a little repetitive. I think all the things you have work, and they all kind of work together really well. But I kind of want one new idea, like either a new melody or a new bass line, or like one new kind of big picture idea that I think would really kind of help the whole arrangement fit together. Kind of going through it sequentially. Yeah, Kevin, go ahead and just put it in the spreadsheet, and I'll take a listen to it after we get through this. As long as we listen to very short clips of it, I don't think I'll get a copyright strike. So first off, I like what you're doing with the vocal samples. You got a lot of cool vocal samples in here. They work. They like help kind of like create a story. However, I feel like the initial one you start with, that one right there, and that one, those sound, because you're doing the kind of repetitive version, it sounds like you're like finger drumming with them. I feel like those don't work quite as well as a lot of the other sounds and vocal samples that are in there. So I like them as like one-offs, but when you do the repeats with them, it comes off as not really like flowing the same way the other samples do.
Yeah. 3, 4. Ready? Listen.
Yeah, all this stuff is like straight DJ Shadow, which I love. This part's great. Yeah, and the flute works really well. I mean, like, the samples you're using are great. I really dig this.
Yeah.
Except for those vocal samples. I'm still not into those. Then there's a part where there's like a guitar that comes in. That little electric guitar part there, that part's super cool, and I think that has a lot of potential to do more work there. Like make it louder, tweak it a little bit, toss some effects on it, layer it up, like really make that thing pop out, because I think it's a really cool part of the song. And right now it feels a little bit like underappreciated in terms of what it's doing in the mix. Yeah, same thing when the guitar part comes there. Let's hear more of that. Daniel, you mean like hear an earlier version of the same track? Is that what you're asking about? But yeah, overall, not too much other feedback than that. Like it has this like very 90s kind of instrumental hip hop, trip hop kind of vibe. Kevin mentioned Portishead. I could totally see that as also like that kind of world. Yeah, it sounds like you are, if your goal is to do that kind of 90s trip hop kind of thing, it's like right on there. I don't need to hear the guitar earlier. I think it just needs to be louder, and I want you to like put some more effects on it and make it more interesting. Like it already is interesting, but like you can go nuts with it and then like layer it up and have different layers doing different cool things and making it more of a central thematic element for the track, because I think it stands out. Yeah, I think it sounds good. It's cool. I don't think we've had anybody submit a song that, like in like this kind of style on the stream before. But yeah, chat. Any other thoughts, ideas, questions, comments? Sweet. Well, at this point, we've gotten through all the tracks on the spreadsheet, which is great. Fantastic. Thanks you to everybody for sending me tracks. That's what makes this whole thing worthwhile. If anybody is just joining us, you are more than welcome to share a track and I will take a listen to it. But Kevin wanted us to check out a track. And what specifically do you want us to check out for this track? Is it specifically just the drum beat? And if so, where in the song does that drum beat start? That'll help me out. So I don't have to play too much of it. Just in general, the mix and sound design. All right. Well, I don't think I'm going to be monetizing this. I don't think the stream's monetized anyway, so I think it'll be fine. I might have to jump around a little bit, and we can talk a little bit about some of the sound design. But if there's anything specific that you want me to like focus on, just let me know. So we got like a really filtered beat. I recognize this track.
So I can work longer. So I can earn more.
Yeah, I mean, it's super minimal. There's like really not that much going on. We were talking about minimalism a little bit before with Vance track, but this is actually a really good example of how you can make something sound really huge and really clean by not adding lots and lots of layers. Like see if you can count how many layers are going on here in terms of different kinds of sounds. There's the drums, obviously. You got a kick, you got like a snappy kind of clap sound, you got a hi-hat in there, you have this like high-pitched shrill, just like one note where it's just like shing. And then you have the like stabs, which are, it sounds like there's multiple layers of stabs going on. There's like a lower stab and a higher stab that are kind of layered together, but like that's it. There's like that's all your sounds, which means that when you're mixing it, you can like just make everything really, really loud. It makes it way easier than trying to do lots and lots of layers there. And it just kind of repeats. It's just like a really filtered out version, and then the filter kind of pops off. Let me jump over here back to 1 minute. Yeah, it sounds like a clap and snap, honestly, more than a snare. But yeah, really, really clean. I mean, everything is really super clean because it's Kill the Noise and Feed Me. So it's like they're very, very good at making sure everything sounds super clean. Yeah, really interesting. But yeah, there's not like that much going on there. It's your big kind of like stabby, housey kind of sound. And occasionally there's little noise cuts, which is kind of cool. So it'll like cut everything. There'll just be like a little like sliver of noise just to give it this kind of like almost kind of glitchy kind of feel. Like that one little one right there. So that's like a really cool technique to kind of break things up, where you just like, you have the same thing and you cut it away for like a split second, put a little bit of noise, and then just go right back into it. And so it acts almost kind of like a really quick drum fill in that situation, just to kind of break things up. Yeah, there's like a subby layer, there's like a bassy layer, and then there's like a high pitched layer. It also sounds like, it sounds like there's, I don't know if it's delay, there's something that making it sound a little bit late off on the side. If you listen with headphones really closely, see if you can notice this, but there's like the main layers coming down the middle, and then like the sides are a tiny bit late, which could be done with like a mid-side delay or something like that, or just like multiple layers with things off to the sides. Next part is basically, yeah, and the second half is basically the same thing, but they add in a new layer to make that kind of like screechy, squelchy kind of sound. Yeah, just really high-pitched sounds in the background, just to like give it lots of tension. This is something that you learn from years of making noise music. Just uncomfortable sounds can be a great way just to build tension in your song, build energy in your song, which is exactly what they're doing there. That sound that's happening in the background is not very pleasant to listen to. Where it's just like this really long pitch bendy sound with like a bit of distortion on it. So it like creates this little bit of like, I don't know, it's like not pleasant to listen to. That just kind of goes in the background to help like give it this like feeling of tension and like urgency, which is something that Stravinsky did in Rite of Spring. So yeah, same kind of idea there. Dissonance and tension. Yeah, that's kind of the idea there. Just got to get your plucks, layer up your plucks big time, and just make them sound perfect. And that's basically all this track is those plucky sounds and a drum beat. Which is hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to make them sound really big and clean like that. But once you get them like that, then the rest of the song you just kind of rinse and repeat from there. Not sure. Yeah, discordance is a great way just to like build energy and build tension here. Which I've been seeing a lot more recently, the last couple of years. It's been a much bigger thing in electronic music. Like a lot of like house music and future-based stuff from 5 or 6 years ago was not nearly as discordant as a lot of the stuff that's being released now, especially a lot of like dubstep stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on this track. Like when you have less things going on, everything has to be really, really clean, but it's way easier to make everything clean when you have less elements going on there. But in terms of like what's going on with the drum beat, I'm not hearing anything like too crazy. Yeah, it's pretty standard housey kind of drum beat stuff going on. Yeah, so there was a riot first time Rite of Spring was performed. It wasn't because the oboe wasn't played in the right octave. It was because everything sounded out of tune. And people did not like it because they're used to seeing the orchestra play things in tune. Yeah, I don't know if I have any other thoughts on this guy. Definitely a dope track. Definitely a like classic for this style of music. Yeah, I wish copyright stuff wasn't as big of a deal on YouTube, and then I could do this kind of like song deconstruction stuff more often. because it's kind of fun to like just listen to tracks and talk about why they work and why they don't work. I was also thinking about at some point for the channel just doing like album reviews, just picking albums that I really love and just talking about them for like 15 or 20 minutes and why you should listen to them. I think that'd be really cool. Do a little Anthony Fantano kind of thing. Sweet. Well, once again, I'm going to be checking back in on the spreadsheet, and it does not look like there are any other tracks that I have not yet taken a look at. I'm going to hang out for a little bit longer, hang out for a few more minutes, and see if anybody has a track they want to share. You guys are welcome to ask me questions or hang out or whatever. But I will be back on Tuesday for another office hours hangout stream. And then obviously next Friday, I'll be back here for another feedback stream. And then starting in November, we're going to be switching up the stream schedule to Monday, Wednesdays instead of Tuesday, Fridays. So keep an eye out for that. But next week, same schedule that we've had forever now. And then November, everything changes. November is the 1-year anniversary of the channel. Yeah, Daniel, we'll see if I work up the motivation to do it. I think it'd be really fun because there's a bunch of albums that I really love that I could just talk about and just nerd out about for a while. From like different weird styles of music that I'm into. It might have to be like a separate channel though. I don't know if I should be the same channel or maybe I do it as a separate thing. Yeah, everybody, thanks for popping by. Go ahead and clear out this spreadsheet here. Got through everybody. So yeah, keep an eye out for I have some really fun videos that I've filmed this week that I'm really excited to actually release out there, including a PowerPoint presentation. Doing my first, it's not really a TED Talk, but I'm gonna pretend like it's a TED Talk. Yeah, that's gonna be it for the stream today. Thanks everybody for popping by. Appreciate all you guys for sending me your tracks. I always enjoy listening to them, and it's been super fun. Everybody have a good weekend. Go watch the Dune movie. I'm gonna go see it tonight, and I'm hoping it's gonna be as good as I think it's gonna be. But take care of yourselves, make some music, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday.